The right staff diameter can change the feeling of a flow toy significantly for some props and not a lot for others. So I'm Momo from Bonobo Flow, and today we're going to cover choosing the right staff diameter for dragon staffs, contact staffs, spin staffs, double staffs, and a couple other props. First, let's talk a little bit about some basic physics. A smaller diameter staff is going to spin faster as it rolls down your body, so it has a higher RPM, but it travels more slowly down your body because each revolution is covering a smaller distance. On the other hand, a larger tubing diameter is going to rotate slower, but it's going to cover more ground. One thing I want to note for the rest of this video is when we're referencing staff diameter, I'm talking about the actual diameter of the tubing, not when we're including the diameter of the grip. Because grip thicknesses can range from 1.5 to 3 millimeters thick, some even more than that, it can heavily change the overall diameter after it's been gripped. So a thinner tube compared to a thicker tube, with one having a thin grip and the other one having a thick grip, can end up having a similar feel to them. The first prop we're going to talk about is a dragon staff. These generally are designed for hubs that go onto 7/8 inch tubing or 22 millimeters. Some hubs have a spacer option to let them fit onto 3/4 of an inch. 1 inch used to be a lot more common, and now I would say you don't really see it around too much. For most dragon staffs, I would always stick to the 22 millimeter option, as this is going to make it the most compatible with every hub and system on the market. Although you can go thinner or thicker, I don't particularly recommend this, especially if you're first starting out. So I would just say stick to the 7/8 inch or 22 millimeter diameter. For contact staffs, they generally come in 3 different diameters. It's either 22, 19, or 16 millimeter, which is 7/8, 3/4, or 5/8 of an inch. 22 millimeter or 7/8 inch contact staffs are going to travel across your body more quickly. I like them for martial or faster styles of flow because I can switch from staff spinning and weaves to things like angel rolls and have them travel more quickly down my body so I can go back into spinning my staff. It's probably the most common if you're talking about a global scale. I also like it because it is similar to my dragon staff, and so that way I have a similar feel between the two props when I'm switching in between them. On the other hand, 16 millimeters is the thinner of the diameters you'll see. It's generally always made with carbon fiber because at this thickness, aluminum can be a little bit more bouncy. It moves slower down your body, so a lot of people prefer it for technical flow. I would say it's really good for traps, tip tails, fish tails, or even double or triple contact staff movements. I don't particularly love it for angel rolls or steves, but this is more of a personal preference rather than a rule. 19 millimeters or 3/4 of an inch is probably one of the most popular, especially in the US. It rolls more slowly than a 22 millimeter staff, but it rolls a little bit faster than a 16 millimeter, so it's a great in between. One note on all contact staffs, regardless of what staff diameter you have, is contact staff flowers slow down the roll of your staff as they flare out. Silicone flowers can also be cut shorter if you want to adjust how much slower they're making your staff roll, but this could be a great option if you already own a contact staff and find it rolling too fast across your body. So you can add some flowers, and this will also add some weight to the ends, which will help with the contact weighting at the center of the staff. The good news is these can just be cut off. So if you got too used to having flowers on your staff and now you want something a little bit faster, you can take them off anytime. Although contact swords are a different prop, I would say they follow a lot of the same principles. The one difference being is you're not generally going to see them in a 7/8 inch outside diameter, so it's usually either going to be 5/8 or 3/4 of an inch. The next prop is a spin staff. Because a spin staff doesn't roll on your body and they're meant for quick spins and weaves, they're generally only gripped in the center, and the outside diameter doesn't matter as much. You'll usually see them in 19 or 22 millimeter wall thicknesses. This gives you a little bit more to grab onto and is great for tosses as well, as skinnier sticks might be harder to find as you're throwing. Finally, we have double staffs, which come in anywhere between 3/8 to 7/8 of an inch, with the most common middle ground being 1/2 an inch. For double staffs, I'd say this is mostly preference based. Some people like the thicker tubes to grab onto, find them easier if they're doing tosses in the middle of their flow, whereas skinnier tubes might be easier to manipulate with your fingers to do finger twirls. A lot of manufacturers don't generally even give you the choice of which wall thickness to use. So I don't think it matters as much unless you've already have a preference in mind of what you want to use. Although batons are a little bit different of a prop, there is some carryover, and batons are usually at the 3/8 inch wall diameter, which puts it on the lower end of the spectrum of where double staffs are generally sized. For a lot of other props, diameter isn't usually a huge consideration, and a lot of the time you don't even have a choice of which diameter to pick depending on who you're buying from. And so I wouldn't worry about it too much. Things like levy wands, devil sticks, etc. are usually chosen for their weight, strength, or durability, or what's already common for that prop. So a quick summary is a large diameter travels faster on your body even though the RPM is lower because each revolution covers more distance. Conversely, smaller diameters will travel slower. For dragon staff, we generally recommend sticking to 22 millimeters, which is 7/8 of an inch. For contact, you can choose anything between 22, 19, or 16 millimeters, one of the most balanced middle grounds being the 19 millimeter or 3/4 of an inch. Similarly, contact swords are either 16 or 19 millimeters. Spin staffs are also generally found at 19 to 22 millimeters, and I personally prefer the 22. Doubles are usually 13 millimeters, but they'll range anywhere from 10 to 22, which is 3/8 of an inch to 7/8 of an inch. Contact staff is where diameter matters the most in my opinion, and a lot of the other props come in very specific diameters for a reason. Thank you so much for watching. If you found the information in this video useful, please like, comment, subscribe, and follow us for more content. We have a ton of resources on staves, fire safety, and everything flow art related on our channel as well as our website. Thank you so much for watching. Have a great day.